something like a tradition to
I'm leaving the spotlight for you.
Yeah,
For now.
yeah. It's kind of tradition. We did this in the past conference. Pedro wasn't here. Now Pedro is here.
I think you should come as well.
No, it's too much for the square.
Okay,
not talk about your weight, Pedro. Don't worry. But also we have Eilif from NTNU. That is the base ground for the incremental digital vision. But of course, Dimos and I are adding here the layer of the human data interaction. As you saw yesterday, we are in the committee, and for us this is important and relevant because we need digital data, and we will deal a lot of human data in that interaction with the digital twin. And mostly we ask ourselves how to twin, and I'm old, and Hollywood say that they are twins.
I mean, the age of the audience will be determined about how many of you can catch this reference.
Yeah, and
right, okay. 3. That's
okay.
Great.
We are old guys, but that is the main aspect. And thank you again, Colin, for that insight before, because Schwarzenegger is the physical one, but Danny DeVito is still a virtual one. And we can deal with this incremental visual. We can have a twin just for the facade, and after go forward for the interest, for air condition, and can increase our digital twin. And of course, dealing with data, dealing with the humans. Yes. If Hollywood say it's possible, we trust Hollywood. But that was the vision that started with Professor Eilif Hjelseth in TNU in a master thesis. And we add some layers, and we have these incremental levels of maturity of a digital twin. And of course, we mixed a lot of reference. Colin again is here about the anniversary paper, the generation 1 through 3. Also, we had the digital model, digital shadow for Chana, the Hjelseth and Professor Eilif base of this. And of course, again, the work of Rafael Sachs and Berlax about the digital twin construction. This is, we can also have that data from the construction sites. Yeah? Oh, thank you. And that is very important as well. We will collect data from the workforce, and there we are dealing with a lot of human data. I truly like this concept about HDI. This, mainly people can be data consumers and data providers. And of course, many times they are both. We are using data and consuming data. And we try to figure out in this paper, here's just to highlight, go to the paper and you see more. But we have a lot of stakeholders involved on that, and we try to identify that are more prone to be data consumers or data providers. We had quite a lot of people deal with data, and inside of that intention to have an incremental digital twin. Of course, I will just bring some example. I must after give the floor for my friend Dimos here. But for example, owners, we figure out they are more prone to be consumers of data during all the phases of this incremental vision. And the designers as well will consume more data. Construction managers and contractors during the construction phase, they will of course deal more with data they are collecting from the workers. And IT, we need IT people together with the engineers, the architects, to deal with the sensors and the collecting data, treat them, process the data. Data scientists, very important, not only the IT vision, but people are able to understand, deal with uncertainty about that data we are collecting. And system operators, facility managers, all that guys, and of course that guy will be more prone to provide data. And of course here the construction workforce, maybe people they will work after during the use phases and work in the facilities of the buildings or infrastructures, everything, or manufacturing as well. We will, moving forward in this vision very soon, bring more elements to this incremental vision. But as I said, of course, we should also provide feedback. Okay, we will collect data from the workers. We will provide data from the users of the building. We should provide feedback. They will also be consumers of data, and that is very important. But here we just highlighted this in the way that people are more prone to one or to another one. Now, this square is yours.
Okay. The square is mine. All right. So, as you see in this funnel-like schema, there are some levels of there are some levels of this incremental digital twin. This can be kind of akin to levels of development, of course, although it's not the same thing, right? And this is a conceptually heavy paper. What we did is we tried to conceptualize different levels of human data interaction that kind of have this one-to-one connection with different levels of the incremental digital twin. Therefore, you can see here that we have, I will use this one. I want to walk around. I'm moving out of the square, or not. Okay, not too much. So we have connected these different levels of human data interaction with these different levels of the incremental digital twin, and I'll explain how we conceptualize those. So on the base level of the static twin, where we're just starting developing the different layers of the digital twin, we have what we call the HDI requirements, where we more or less conceptualize what are the requirements about the different interactions and the data that is being consumed or provided within the construction of the digital twin, right? And the challenge at this level is that the different stakeholders that either provide or consume data might not really know what data we're talking about. What do we do, what do we produce, and how do we utilize this? In the second level, where we have the detailed twin, where we start adding more and more details and we make our digital twin much more nuanced, we have what we call HDI linkages, where after we understand the requirements for human data interaction, then we understand the different things that connect the different parts of this whole process, right? So, and that way we want to facilitate the interaction and involvement of the whole twinning process. In the third level, which is connected to the as-built twin, where our digital twin starts really getting into details and getting akin to what is actually built, we have what we call HDI as proposed, where we actually start using the data to amend profile identification processes, right? About multiple actors, and not only the specific stakeholders that were involved from the beginning, but also things like craftsmen, inspectors, and managers. People, of course. Then in the sensor twin, we have, what's that? The HDI connected. Okay, I forgot. The HDI connected is where these linkages that we had in the previous level are getting much more fleshed out, right? And we start thinking about our sensing technologies, how we use those and how we utilize them. Then on the third to last level, where we are talking about HDI training, is when we actually use this data to start training our models, which might be machine learning models or some other kind of evolving algorithms, where we use this data set to train those models so that we can start having predictors out of them about how the digital twin might evolve in the process. And of course, after the training, we have actually the learning process, where we use what we got out of our training in the previous level to actually understand and furtherly utilize our digital twin, right? And here we have things like autonomous data interaction and simulations. Again, this is just on a conceptual level. And to finish off on the last twinning level, which is the independent twin, we envisage something that is fully autonomous and intelligent, right? Where virtual machines will interact with a physical building without human intervention. I believe that this is quite ways off, it's quite off at this point, but I for sure believe that we can reach to the HDI learning level. And then we can start thinking about what an autonomous digital twin is about. So there are different data interaction frequency number of stakeholders, and data threads requirements on each level, right? And this can be from very low to very high. I won't bore you with this one, but the whole process is that there's not a level where everything is low or everything is high, right? There are different levels for different levels of data interaction, for example, or number of stakeholders or data threads for different HDI levels. Okay, so to finish off, this is our last slide. We think that human data interaction, just like we discussed yesterday in our committee's meeting, is of the utmost importance when we are exploring this kind of processes. Twinning processes are exactly connecting the digital and the physical in this cyber-physical, socio-technical system, right? And since we are going to use this, and we're going to make this, and we are going to utilize this process can afford us, we have to understand what are the interactions we have with these things, right? And the way to do this is conceptualize different levels of interactions and break it up to smaller interconnected pieces. It's a very system theoretic approach, right? In order to understand what the hell we're talking about. And yeah, that is our contribution for the day. Thank you.